said private, but should work now. So I'm gonna go ahead and post these.
There we go.
Yep, we should be up and kicking now. So, what's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty here with some special guests. We got the head coach of the Explorers, Bill, and the head coach of the Sentinels, Coach Armstrong, with us right here. How you guys doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here.
Doing good too. Yeah, excited to finally get this podcast going.
Yeah, should have had it going on Wednesday, but you know, with the little difficulties we had with Elgato, finally got everything straightened out, and it's time to go talk about some major topics. A lot of big news, as you can see right now on the screen. We got 6 big topics to talk about. There's actually going to be a 7th that I'm going to throw in there. It's just a recap thing, but these are the main important topics that we got to cover here. And first topic to talk about is the NCAA, man. We got the college series going, but the NCAA in real life, allowing players to get paid, which is going to ultimately bring back the NCAA football game. So that's a big, that's huge right now, especially for us. And I just want to ask you guys, man, how excited are you about the news?
Go ahead, Bill.
I'm really excited. Like, when NCAA was out, like, I would play it a few times here and there, but I was never really a big NCAA player. Like, I feel like a lot of our community was and still is. But I really thought that when we had it, it was really nice to have that connection between the college level and the pro level in our video games to really try to, you know, tie it all together. So I think if that can come back and give us that second part of really a football league, that's going to be huge.
Oh, man. Me, myself, personally, I'm loving it. For the simple fact of, I don't know if they're going to do it like they did then, but you was able to import your college draft class onto Madden without no problem, not having to remake the player.
I think, Coach Jones, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm back. But it's like, man, everything just, they're coming with it, and I'm just excited. I don't know what to do. I can't wait.
Yeah, so excited the mic just went out.
Hear me?
Yeah. So with that being said, man, another thing we talk about, we more information about the NCAA games returning, just for some news on that. I mean, EA themselves said that they would jump at the opportunity to get back and at making these college football games if and only if what just happened did happen, which is allowing these players to get paid, man. And these guys specifically said that by 2021, they expect these colleges to have their rules for this to get established, so that way they can, you know, have everything done. And I think by that time, I would have to say I feel that around maybe not next year, but by 2021, I do feel that there is going to be an NCAA football game out. I want to ask you guys, what time do you think that NCAA football will be back on console?
I mean, I would love for it to be out by 2021, but with how long this legal stuff always takes, I'm not 100%. I'm not going to, assume it's going to be within the next year or two, just because of the fact that they'll drag this stuff out as long as they can. That always happens. If I had to pick a date, I'd say probably 2022, 2023 would probably be the most realistic for how this stuff usually goes. Because, you know, once they get the okay, you know, of course, then they have to go and actually first say they're going to make the game, get a team together, and develop the game. So I think it's going to take longer than 2021. But once the legal stuff gets out of the way and everything goes the way we expect it to, I think that's when, you know, things will start picking up steam. Because obviously somebody's going to jump on the train for the football game. That's just a given.
I agree with Bill there. I would love for it to be 2021. I mean, man, this has been a long time coming. But I also would say about 4 or 5 years to get all that paperwork and stuff in order and this, that, and the other. So, man, I'm looking forward. I'm excited. I'm lost of words. I just wish they get it on going and get it up and running so we can get to it.
And as you can see from the poster up here, we got EA's logo and 2K's logo. And the reason why is because, I mean, just because EA said they were going to come back making football games doesn't mean that 2K can't get back into the football market. Do you guys think that 2K will take a shot at coming back with football, with the college, with getting the college licenses?
That's sort of a toss-up. Part of me would like to see 2K, get their hands in the football game a bit again, but the other half of me says that because they've been away for so long, they might not jump at the opportunity to do it again, and because EA already has a team that's, well, as much as I don't really agree that they know what they're doing that much, they do understand how the football game works, so they would already sort of be a step ahead of 2K, but if we could get 2K football again, I'd be all for that, to be honest.
I'm on 2K's bandwagon, man. EA has been having their hands all over the Madden, and they just been ruining football, making people hate it. So, my opinion, 2K needs to take this and make it blow up and give us some real good football again.
But if I could add some real quick, I sort of hope, unless we get a pro 2K game, that EA does take it back, because, man, it would be great to be able to implement that for the RFL and just for Madden in general for the Pro League. So, I mean, I'm sort of on both ends of the spectrum, really, but it'd be more suitable for us if EA was to bring it back themselves.
Yeah, NCAA definitely a game that we all miss, man. I can't wait to get my hands on them. We already know for sure EA at some point is going to come back out with it. And, I mean, there's a lot of nostalgic things that I remember about the game. I want to ask you guys, what features of the game are you most forward to looking for when they do bring back football? What did you like the most out of the NCAA series?
I wasn't a huge player of the NCAA series, but I always loved the dynasty modes and of course building a team, because I love the whole being able to make the uniforms, all that sort of stuff. So those two are the biggest things that I missed.
Oh man, the most was the dynasty mode, having to go out and scout for players to bring them in to continue to have your school be number one or ranked in the country and everything. You know what I'm saying, man? You don't get to write no contract, and you got this man for this amount of years. Them players can leave you at any point in time, and you have to have some players to put right back in their spot. So, man, that dynasty, ooh, man, I can't wait.
Yeah, and speaking of what you guys were talking about, seeing some Bill and you guys in particular just talking about customization, that's a big thing in football games, period, which we've seen a lackluster of so far in EA. Hopefully they'll get more customizable with their game in the near future, but I know one thing for a fact that they did not hold back on was with the NCAA series, and I wanted to ask you guys, do you think these guys, for the time that they do bring it back, which will most likely be on next-gen consoles, maybe PlayStation 5 and everything else, do you think they'll bring back team building?
Man, I hope so, but I think it depends. I think they'll be able to for the NCAA games before they will the NFL games, because I know there's some rumors that the NFL is who's putting really the denial down on team customization in their game, and I don't think NCAA really cares too much about that aspect of it. So if we're going to get it back, I would say there's a pretty good chance that it would come back with the NCAA game.
I would love for it to come back, man. It just gave me goosebumps just to go on there and you pick wherever you want your team to play at, you know what I'm saying? You get to build your own uniforms, the colors, the logos, the stadium, the field. Man, I wish they bring it all back. They need to.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I was going to ask the same question, this last question I got here, but pretty much you guys answered it about how big you guys think this would be for the RFL for an NCAA college football coming back, but I'm pretty sure you guys answered it. You guys want to add anything to that, or?
I mean, with us being go ahead, Bill.
Well, it'd be a huge thing, because, we would be able to tie that in with, our college series now, and we would have a lot more choices or schools to choose from, and hopefully a little bit more of a better way to bring in draft classes, and also, of course, cut down on your work, Smitty, when it comes to making these draft classes. So I think it would be amazing for us if we can get our hands on another NCAA to help establish the league even more and make things easier for us as a league.
Yeah.
Bill answered the question for me, and everything else, I'm in agreement with him.
Yeah. So, definitely college football. Can't wait for that to come back. And speaking of college football let's get talking about the RFL College Football Series so far. We have never had a podcast discussing about the college series, and here we are in week 6. A lot of big things going on, and I just want to ask you guys, talked about how excited you guys are for the NCAA game coming back. How excited have you been so far about the college series for the RFL?
I've loved it. I think it's a really great way for not only to fill the sort of the dead air between the RFL seasons, but also a way for our community members who submit players and for the generic players that we bring on to showcase their abilities ahead of the draft. It's a big thing for the coaches to be able to come in and scout and see how these guys perform in certain situations, knowing that while their ratings will be somewhat different when they actually get drafted, this is what these guys play like. This is their abilities and their style. I've loved it so far.
I love it, man, because it gives me a chance to actually see what the player may be like and everything else once you draft them and everything, instead of just going through the scouting and doing the combine and just looking at numbers and stats on the paper. You actually get to see these kids actually play. So I'm loving it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a fun, interesting way to go. And like you said, another benefit, like Bill was saying about the NCAA football game possibly returning, we'll have more than 32 teams. That's for sure for college, so that's a big plus. Yep. And what we got up here right now, we got the top 25 rankings in the college series so far. Now, I know some people are probably looking at this like, how is TCU and these teams in the top 25 with a 1-4 record? And the reason why is simply because there's only 32 college teams. And so these are the top 25 rankings, and we got OSU, Ohio State, at 6-0 now after getting a huge win just last night against Michigan. Man, that came down to the wire. The final score of that one was 30-27. And we got Washington, who was the only other undefeated team at number 2 in the country. Haven't seen them play yet, but we'll see if they can keep up with Washington. You can see the ranks here. We got LSU at 3, Florida at 4, UCF at 5, Clemson 6, Penn State 7, Miami 8, Notre Dame 9, Alabama 10, USC 11, Florida State 12, Stanford 13, West Virginia 14, Tennessee 15, Texas 16, Houston 17, Mississippi State 18, Virginia Tech 19, Oklahoma 20, Ole Miss 21, Wisconsin 22, Oregon 23, and Michigan 24 with TCU at 25. And Michigan had that tough loss, like I said, all 4 of their games. When we were talking about the games, were very close. They lost. Now they're actually 1-5, so not even sure if they're going to be in the top 25 rankings. But man, what are you guys thinking about the rankings so far?
I mean, if you're watching real college football, I mean, it's a little bit different than what you probably used to seeing. Yeah. But I mean, any given Sunday, I mean, what else can you say? Or any given Saturday, I guess I should say, for college football.
Say Saturdays.
Yeah. So,
but man,
okay.
It's amazing to see like how our league has made other schools show up in places that you normally wouldn't see them. You feel me? Alabama down at 10. Come on, man. Michigan at 24. Are you serious? I mean, but these schools have been balling out, and these kids have been balling. They trying to get to the RFL. So what do you expect?
Yeah, and back to the top of the list, man. Number 1 and number 2, the only undefeated teams in the college series. Ohio State and Washington are the only undefeated teams right now. Who do you think will continue to be undefeated for the longest?
Well, I'm sort of glad that last night happened the way it did, because otherwise my answer when we were supposed to have this podcast would have been pretty dumb. But I'm going with OSU, Ohio State. I think they're gonna keep chugging along. I don't see them slowing down at all.
I'm going with Ohio State also. I mean, man, that defense is stout, and they got a quarterback that just won't quit. So I'm with OSU.
Okay, now I'm looking at the top 25 rankings. If you had to choose a team that you think would be able to squeeze in the top 4 for the playoffs, the Final Four, which anybody honestly has a chance, which team do you think will be able to do that at this point?
that's a tough one for me. I mean, the way that the top two are steadily just winning every week, it's such a. I mean, with half of the teams at 4-1, another chunk of them at 3-2, and only two of them at 5-0. I mean, we could see it where in 3 weeks, I mean, West Virginia could be number 3 and LSU could be number 14. That's just how crazy this is. So, like, to try to put a number on who would go where is, I mean, really, as long as you're sticking to the top, if you don't have more than 1 or 2 losses, you got a shot. I really don't know who to put it on that could make that move.
I'm not a betting man, so I can't even look at these teams and tell you because all of them play awesome. I mean, you could walk in any given Saturday and the underdog could just come out on top and just ruin your hopes. I'm going to just sit back and then keep on enjoying the season, man. I can't even pick it, but I know it's going to be some good headbangers at the end of this season that's going to make it electric.
And so on top of that, what team do you think has performed better than you thought so far in this college series, and what teams do you feel has underperformed so far in this college series?
I mean, mine, I think this sort of goes for everybody. I'm not discounting them at all, but I don't think anybody assumed that Washington was going to be up at the number 2 spot. So, I mean, I'm going to take them for my overachieving team. Not that they're not a good team in our series, but at the beginning of it, if you would have asked me if Washington was going to be ahead of LSU, Florida, Clemson, Alabama, I would have said no way, but here they are. And if for my underperforming team, I'm going to have to actually go back to my favorite college, and that's Wisconsin Badgers. I'm a little disappointed in how they've been playing. I thought they were a better team, and they just disappoint me every single week.
Well, Washington will be my overachiever. I mean, those guys have been playing flawlessly, man. I mean, like Bill said, Alabama down at 10 and Washington at 2. Amazing. And my underachiever would be Alabama sitting down at 10. Man, these guys are just go and run through any and everybody. What they doing down there?
Not much.
they got the talent, man. And then you look at the 2 losses that they had. They lost the first game of the season, which is a crazy blowout, but that mainly was probably due to the slider defects that we had. But then they lost another game. So, I mean, they still, like you said, anybody can get their way up. But, yeah, it is kind of shocking the way things have been going on.
I'm not even a Bama fan, and, I mean, that's just surprising seeing them down there.
Yeah, I mean, and I have a feeling that, like, whoever of the 2 lost teams, if they take another loss, I feel like their season's done with the way the top teams have been playing. Yeah.
And so a new graphic up here, we're going to be talking about Geno Gannon and Marquise Washington. What do you think? No, who do you think has been having the better season so far as a quarterback? This is a graphic from the game. They're not playing each other again unless they go to a bowl game or the national championship or something. But this is just the graphic from that game. And man, that game that these guys had was crazy. Final score 30-23. Both of these guys showed out. But who do you think so far is having the better season?
I mean, it's a tough one because they're both playing very well. But from what I've seen, I feel like Marquise Washington is having more of the big, flashy, like crazy stats when he plays. So I mean, I think if I had to go with one of them, I'd go with Washington. But it's definitely close in my eyes.
Man, I got to say Washington also. He went in that boy house and did the damn thing and put a loss on his record. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing that he just up and left and went to that school and everything else, and then Geno stepped up and Geno gave him the business at the end of the season, though. But I have to say Marquise is just outstanding.
Yeah, both of these guys definitely playing some really good football. LSU just able to squeeze over Florida after that big win. And now they're sitting at number 3. Florida's sitting at number 4. And, man, Florida's got a big game coming up, and so does LSU. LSU going to be playing their rivals there in the SEC, the Auburn Tigers. That's the Tiger Bowl right there going on. Then we got the Florida Gators taking on Alabama. As we talked about Bama, I mean, even though they may be down, they took a couple of losses. That should be a really good game. We got to see how Marquise Washington, the greatest quarterback right now in the series, that the prospects have him, that our college scouts, have him ranked at. is going to be able to respond after taking such a close loss. But I think he played as best as he could. But moving on, we talked about Geno Gannon. We talked about specific prospects like Washington. But outside of Geno Gannon and Marquise Washington, and we didn't even bring up Isaiah Streets, you can include him. What prospect do you think has performed the best so far in this series? And which prospect do you feel has disappointed that you thought would play better?
Well, I don't really have much for the who has been underperformed side of things because I'm watching the games, and if people stick out to me in a good way, that's awesome. But if they don't stick out, then I probably didn't even recognize what's going on. So I really don't have a solid name for who's underperforming. But my overperformer, which is sort of a little, I don't know how to explain it. It's a little weird, I guess. I would have to say that Geno Gannon's actually been the one that's sort of been overperforming for me. And the reason for that is, even though we expected him to, nobody really knew what he was going to do after, last season. He came in for 2-3 games, and now he's thrust into this starter at this huge college that's, Marquise Washington just left, and nobody knew if he was going to come in and, do good or fall flat on his face. So, I mean, for me, Geno, even though he's not maybe the best quarterback stat-wise in the series right now, I think he's been the best performer and the most overperformer for me.
As well as me, I don't have an underperformer. I'm only watching for what I believe I need for spots to be filled on my team. So if you're underperforming, you ain't got to worry about Coach Armstrong looking at it or catching it. But if
there go the mic.
Well, he got real excited again.
I gotta go with the Bear. Beware of the Bear, man. Brewer over there in OSU, man. That dude is a monster. He's coming off, and he's just tearing quarterbacks down. Anything coming to his side gets destroyed. Don't go to his side because I don't think you're gonna make it past.
Yeah, I can agree with that because, to be honest, he's probably a really, really big reason why they are sitting where they are right now. He has been unstoppable.
One man force on one side of the ball. You only got one way to go.
Yeah, he's definitely been an impact player, and that was a good analogy, too, on Geno Gannon. Even though he's a big name, like you said, nobody expected him to play as consistent as he has been so far, and so it's going to be interesting to see how he does for the rest of the season. I got a question on here that was supposed to be for Wednesday, which was Ohio State versus Michigan. Who do you think is going to win? But you already know who won that one. Ohio State comes out on top. They get the victory. They're 6-0. Michigan falls to 1-5. So what I'm gonna do is trying to throw a curveball here and just talk about the next game coming up tomorrow. So who do you think is going to win this SEC rivalry matchup between the Florida Gators, with them sitting at number 4, and the number 10 Alabama Crimson Tide?
That's tough because the consensus says that Florida does, but I don't think that we've heard the last of Alabama. I don't think that's going to be the case this series. Doesn't matter if it's real NCAA football or if it's in the RFL, the college series. Alabama is Alabama, so I'm going to go with them taking it.
Alabama might be Alabama, but Florida been playing hot. I don't think they finna go and let Bama do it to them this time. I think you're going to see them elephants on the grill.
Spoken like a true Florida man. In case you guys ain't know, he don't only coach a team in Florida and Orlando. Boy, Coach Armstrong, he lives in Florida.
Floridian.
Florida strong right there. And so that probably should have known that was probably going to be his answer. But moving on, man, let's talk about the current state of the RFL. We just got a couple things just to let you guys know what's been going on and why we haven't been getting too much content as of yet. We are still working on the teams. We're finishing up right now the traits and likeliness of the team. I guess likeness of the players of each team so far. We're pretty much almost done with the entire AFC, and we'll be moving on, trying to finish up the NFC, trying to get our coaches in the file so they can start working with their teams hands-on. But still a process that we are working on. Another thing is we'll be recreating top free agents from Madden 19 that didn't get picked up from Season 4. that's still sitting there, so they'll be coming over. We'll have another big free agency period in the RFL, so look out for that. There's definitely going to be a lot of news once that opens. And currently, right now, actually, what we've done is we've finished the Masters schedule, but we're still probably going to tweak things a little bit, but expect things to come out about the RFL soon. We're not too far away, man. It's already November. You know, before you know it,
crazy.
RFL Season 5 is going to be here, man. How excited are you guys about that?
Oh, cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Man, you can't wait. I done been to the bowl to lose. I done went to the first round of the playoffs to lose. Man, I can't wait. It's my time. It's my time. We looking out for Coach Armstrong and them Sentinels, y'all.
We will see. I talked about free agency. Let's go ahead and get a look at some big names returning. First, we're going to talk about Vassie Rodenhauser. I don't know if anybody right now remembers who this guy was. I don't think anybody even on this show was in the RFL by the time that this guy was wreaking havoc on the field. As you can see from the graphic, he was the former Defensive Rookie of the Year in the NFC Conference for the San Antonio Marshals. And unfortunately, he got released due to off-the-field issues. He failed multiple drug tests, and, you know, before you know it, the guy, he just fizzled out. And so he got himself together, said he's been clean ever since he's been released, looking to try to come back. What are you guys feeling right now about Vassie Rodenhauser? Do you think a team will sign him? And do you think he'll be as great as he once was?
I think, I feel like he's going to get signed. I mean, you don't win Defensive Rookie of the Year for no reason. It's not usually a fluke thing. I mean, sometimes I guess it is, but he's obviously has talent. I see him getting signed. I have no idea if he's going to be as good as he was, and to be honest, I really don't know how great he was, because like you said, I was not here for that. But I'll use what Noah said, who had the list made. We don't know. Maybe he's the next All-Pro, but he could have been a flash in the pan for all we know. So, time will tell.
Well, I'm known to work with troublemakers and everything else. Being from Florida, I mean, you can't get around in Florida without people messing with you. But it was before my time, and I wish I could put him on my roster because he sure would have a job.
Yeah, well, his situation is going to be working different, so he won't be in the NFC conference. He'll be able to go to either. And so that's going to be discussions and stuff that'll be up for the future. Wow. So, yeah, he could go to the AFC. If the guys are interested, like Bill said, I have no doubt that this guy is going to get signed. He was a Defensive Rookie of the Year, and the guy is still young. He's going to be 25 years old coming back. He was a stud, just took 2 years off, came in the league at, I think, 22, 23. And, those 2 years off, it can affect the player, but like you said, man, Defensive Rookie of the Year, he might, and he's still young, he might still got some in the tank, or he could just be a little quick flash in the pan, like you guys said. But, yeah, moving on, though, with another big name free agent coming back. I don't have a picture of him. I looked back as far as I could to try to find a picture of Derek Hicks, but this guy was the real deal at wide receiver, and he retired at the end of last season. And he was on the Diablos, where he really made the biggest impact. He had the lone touchdown in the relocation bowl against the Red Dragons back in season 2. And, last season he made a move over to Memphis. He was there with the Steamers and Justin, Coach Jones over there. And then he decided to call it quits, retired. He only had a 1-year contract as well. So, he's not obligated to stay with those guys. And he wants to return back to try to get on a roster spot. The only hang-up here is, the age is a little bit of a problem. He's 32 years old. And I want to ask you guys, do you think any team will give him an opportunity? And if so, what team do you think will most likely give him that chance? And if not, why not?
Well, I have one word for that. Nah. I think somebody's going to sign him. I don't think he's going to have as big of a market as maybe he thinks or some other people think that he's going to have. I mean, yes, he was good, but last year he was used sparingly. It's not like he was like a bona fide All-Pro last season, and he's 32. Like there's we had a whole slew of rookies come in this year through the draft. We have all these young guys on the roster. You're going to have to find somebody that, for one, doesn't have many wide receivers, or has them but doesn't like any of them and doesn't want to develop them. So, I mean, I'm sure there'll be somebody who will sign him, but I don't think that he's going to be that hot of a commodity just because of the fact that we're already close to the season and he's 32.
Well, me, I don't see no one signing them either. For one thing, you're old. I mean, dude, it's time for you to put those cleats up and just sit back and watch these young bucks. I mean, what you gonna do? Come back for one more year to play and everything else, or go out there and get busted up? Man, you better take in and go ahead and stick with that retirement.
Yeah, well, I feel like his slams are very slim. His chances are very slim to none. That's for sure because of the age.
You know, if anybody's gonna sign him, you want to know who it's gonna be?
Who?
It's gonna be Mark.
Mark.
Oh, roll it.
Think Thunderbird's gonna give him a shot? I doubt it though. With the receivers that they got there.
Dude, I was just telling you, man. I just think like if somebody's gonna give a shot to the old receiver that nobody thinks is that good anymore, it's gonna be Mark.
I'm just kidding. I don't think anybody's gonna give him a job.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, I kind of feel like, yeah, he's old, but I don't feel like any team. There's a couple teams out here that are looking for a third, fourth string receiver. They need some slot guys. The dude's still pretty good. I think he's going to be like a 75 overall in free agency. There's a couple teams that don't even have 75 overall receivers as their third receiver. So, if you can hold a guy down for 1 year, just be obligated to pay him just for that one season. I mean, I don't see why not. But at the same time, though, also, like Bill said, they are young guys. You'd probably rather have them come in, even though their overall is not as high, to try to build them up and make them a better player. So, very questionable about the future of Derek Hicks, but he is definitely anxious to give it another try. And
yeah, I mean, like if somebody's got, and another good reason for Mark is because, I mean, maybe somebody who has a window right now to win right now, they want to take a chance on him. Maybe there's a couple other teams that could use a veteran in the locker room, whatever the case is. But I don't see there being that many suitors for Derek Hicks at this time, unfortunately.
And so, talking about free agencies, let's go ahead and take a look at Noah Underhill. This is usually our guy that we like to get involved with articles. If you guys read it on our website, relocationfootballleague.com, that's where I'm at right now. You can see his article right here. He listed his top free agents that he felt should be signed at the start of Season 5. And so, reviewing this list, at number 10, he's got Basti Rodenhauser sitting there. At number 9, he's got defensive end at the age of 26, 76 overall in the AFC, Marquise Cash. Then he's got Roland Crawford, receiver, at the age of 23, 72 overall, sitting there in free agency in both conferences. He also got Bernard Beck, offensive tackle, 22 years old, 73 overall in the NFC. You got former Pro Bowler and Aviators defensive tackle Robbie Havner, at 28 years old and 84 in the AFC. Pretty sure he's going to find somewhere to go. At number 6, though, is where he is on Noah's list. Then at number 5, you got Zack Rosen, quarterback, at 21 years old, very young, 70 overall in the AFC. Hasn't been signed yet. You got a former veteran quarterback in Luke Trent. He, too, was playing the age game here. 32 years old, but quarterback we already know is an important position in the RFL. He's an 84 right now in the AFC. Noah's got him ranked at number 4 in the top free agents available. At number 3, he's got John Walton, former Conquistador receiver, at the age of 23, 78 overall. So plenty of time for him to develop in the AFC. At number 3 there on the list, Marty Ryan, the former Armadillos / Celtic Tigers tight end, 27 years old, 84 in the AFC. And at number 1 in free agency, he feels that Andre Tomlinson is the steal that somebody needs, that he feels somebody needs to pick up. He's 27 years old. He's an 84 as well. We already know his time at the Cougars. Excellent running back. And after the review of this list, man, I want to ask you guys, who do you think is the most valuable free agent from Noah's list? And matter of fact, if you don't see somebody who you think on this list, who do you think he's missing?
Well, before I answer the question, I have a question myself here. Maybe, Tor, maybe you can answer this for me. What are you guys doing over there in the AFC? You guys like what are you doing? Like just like look at the overalls on some of these guys. You got a starting D tackle, you got a starting quarterback if need be, you got a starting running back, you got a starting tight end, you got a starting receiver, and you're just all just chilling in free agency. That just blows my mind. If those guys were in the NFC, those guys would have probably been picked up like months ago. Anyway, now to answer the question, I'm going to have to go with the number one on the list, Andre Tomlinson. I mean, I think it was a little unfortunate way that things went for him in Chicago. Rob comes in, and, he just had a different vision for the team. He went and got the running back he wanted with Locker, and Tomlinson found himself on the outside looking in. But that's not to say that this guy can't, come in and, at the very least, be a 1-2 punch with somebody in the league, if not be the full-time starter. He's got years left before he's going to be anything of less of what he is now. So I would have to say that Tomlinson is the number one on that list.
As far as your question goes, I don't know what my counterparts are doing because as far as those positions, I'm covered.
Okay.
But as far as who I see on the list going for the NFC is Bernard Beck, the 22-year-old offensive tackle. I mean, I don't know why he's sitting out there at 73 overall. I'm quite sure someone needs that man to be on that line to stop these people from rushing in the way that NFC defense is. And as far as the AFC goes, Robbie Hafner, the defensive tackle, 84 overall. My God, come on, guys. What are y'all doing? You guys out here sleeping on some of these players. I ain't even got salary cap for them. Come on, y'all better do something. Man, them dudes just sitting out there, and they hungry. Get them.
Yeah, they definitely.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Tor, the reason Beck is out there is because his plane ticket to Columbus isn't for till next Tuesday.
See there? He shouldn't even must have been on the list, then.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't have a graphic for him, but I know you guys seen the information about the long shot guys really having a long shot trying to come out here and get a position since they couldn't get it in the NFL. They trying it out here in the RFL. The only guy that had the highest overall was, of course, Mike Schmizniak, but Mike Schmizniak ended up being a 65 overall receiver right now. He does got star development, though, so... I mean, I guess, but I mean that's a pretty low overall. Do you think that any of those long shot contestants will be signed on an RFL team?
I'd have to go with another resounding nah. I mean, they might be able to find themselves on a roster, maybe, but hey, there's way too many quarterbacks in the RFL right now that haven't done anything to lose their position, and even some that are probably even more deserving than them right now are still in free agency, like we just saw on this list here. I don't see them maybe catching on a practice squad, possibly, but I don't see too much coming out of it.
They call long shots for a reason because there's a long shot that they're going to make it on a team. As far as everything I've been seeing for the long shots, with them coming into our league, they have not been producing as they should. As far as the show goes, they need to rename it to something else because long shot is guaranteed what it's going to be before they actually land a spot on a real RFL team.
Yeah, so we got some talking with them, man. It's definitely going to be a long shot for them, but two really big free agents who have not been listed on this list. Guys heard about them. You got the news on social media. They've got two big-time cornerbacks. We know the overall of one of them coming in, and that's an 83 overall. That's Anthony Washington. He got an opportunity to be a cornerback due to his involvement in the league and everything, and he's going to be a big-time corner. And so there's definitely a lot of teams interested. I know for a fact me and Bill was talking. He was interested. And there's another corner as well, big-time YouTuber as well, and that's Kewanee Jones. I think, my bad if I'm botching your name, but yeah, he's definitely a big-time playmaker. I honestly have to say he's probably the best user cornerback that I've ever seen on YouTube. So he's definitely going to come in a pretty solid corner as well. So what do you guys think about these guys, and where do you think these guys will be signed?
Well, I mean, this is a really tough one for me to guess, but I really feel like they're gonna sign with me. So, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, if you're listening to this podcast, come over to Columbus. Come and join me over here with Rashad Chamberlain and C.J. Robinson and DeMarco Lando and Roman Morrison, and we'll get you guys set up for success to go and win this championship this year. So, come over to Columbus when you get the chance.
Man, you don't want to go to Columbus. It's cold up there. Come on down here to Orlando, man. We got sun, beaches, women, parties, clubs. We got it all.
Hey, man, didn't you have snow during one of your preseason games?
Yo. Don't be catching me on my catchphrases, man. Come on. Leave well enough alone. But, man, wherever those guys land, man, they're going to be a big asset, and they're going to cause some ruckus. I just hope I can get in the running to grab at least one of them.
Well, yeah, definitely some big signs. We already know cornerback is a very tough position to have held down in the RFL. I mean, there's just so many teams that really are in need for some and struggling, but there's just not enough within the league. And these guys definitely going to be immediate impact. You can expect a lot of those weaker end teams, the cornerbacks, to really give them a lot of contact, give them up a call, and hope that they'll join the team. We talked about a lot about free agency. We're done with free agency. Another thing I didn't put on here is trades. Big trades just happened not too long ago, and man, we got snap! Hey, this is a face reveal right here, man. You see what I'm saying? It's your boy Smitty in the building.
Yo, Smitty!
Yeah, so you see what's up? So you can know what your boy look like. I don't know why. The reason why I don't do face cam is because if you can see there, my face was flipped. I would have done that more often, but they keep flipping my face, man. And it looks weird. I don't want you guys to look at me looking like a weirdo. But apparently they got rid of my video. And I'm pissed because I just had it linked up here. That's why I turned the cam on. That was supposed to actually be a video I made for Joe Johnson and Carrington Crowell. Hold up. I think I might be able to add that. I had to do a little bop dance for y'all, man, so you know what your boy look like.
Everybody know who this commissioner is now.
And I can't add the video, which is crazy, man. I just had it in here. But, in case guys didn't know either, I'm black. So, I wanted to ask, Joe Johnson is going to Brooklyn. So, man, I even got the wrong screen up right now. That just completely threw me off. But Joe Johnson is heading to Brooklyn from the Diablos now to the Barons. So that's big right there for sure. Make sure you guys check that out, the news that we got on our social media account. But Joe Johnson goes to Brooklyn as a receiver, and another receiver moves to another team. And as Carrington Crowell from the London Bulldogs going to Salt Lake City for the Pioneers, a big trade. They trade away a second-round pick to pick him up. How do you guys think these players will perform? And what do you guys think about these teams making these trades?
I think it's a good move for both teams because while one is more so than the other, they're both veterans, and both the teams are going to, they're trying to build something. Whether they're going through a rebuilding process or maybe they're just coming out of one or whatever the case is. So, I mean, it's a big addition to their team, and I think it'll just help the rest of the team fill itself out and maybe get a couple more guys in the right spot and help them be a little bit more flexible in their game plan. And so I think it's a good move for both teams. It's well needed, or well timed and needed for both teams.
I agree. It's well needed, but I hope it works out for them because, boy, they done gave away some key pieces to make some things happen and to build some players. With Joe Johnson being as old as he is and getting ready to go out the door, I don't know about that one. But other than that, man, I hope it all works out for them. Good luck, coaches.
Yeah, so some big moves right there, and we're getting back to the screen that I did have, man. I was trying to save this up, but, man, that whole picture thing really threw me off because I was expecting a video to come up, and I was on it. Wow. But here we are with the RFL merch store, and here's a closer look so you guys can see what is on the store, man. I know some guys are worrying about the prices, but, hey, man, I told almost everybody for the 3 days there's a 15% discount. I know some guys are like 15 ain't enough, but to be honest, man, this stuff is pretty high, but for the quality that it is, with the discount, it really wasn't that pricey. I know a couple guys bought some things. They're going to be sending some merchandise. And you can see, I'm trying to move the thing around. You can get this shirt built different. You can see you have the white inside, black, the blue outside, or however you want it. We got a flag here. We got hats. I know Rob was asking for fitteds, but they didn't have that. They had the snapbacks. And if anything, I guess the closest thing to a fitted we got here is a dad hat. And got a couple shirts, some hoodies. And you can cop up. We got different colors. You got black shirt. They're not showing it, but there's also red and navy blue. This is a really good merchandise. We wanted to get something new for you guys, man. Unfortunately, due to the fact that this was supposed to come out on Wednesday, I really was hoping that we could stream this podcast on Wednesday because I would have been able to give out the discount code. But since it's past the 30th now, it's not in effect. And just looking at this merch, I want to ask my guys, my special guests, what do you guys think about the merchandise, man? How's it looking?
I love it, man. I think it's the pro jersey and the pro sweatshirt. I myself got the pro sweatshirt, the fancy looking one, and I got the snapback, and I got a t-shirt. So, I mean, it's all good. And, for people saying that this stuff is expensive, and I can go, I mean, unless you're going to Walmart or some TJ Maxx or something like that, this is just the price of clothing, man. It really isn't, this is not any more expensive than anybody else's merch or any other name brand sweatshirt you're going to buy. It's pretty, I mean, I bought a sweatshirt from Nike for like $80, $90 before, so this is not that much of a big difference. I think as long as the quality's good, which we're all expecting it to, which is why we made the switch, man, it's going to be well worth it. So go get some RFL merch while it's here.
Man, I even went out and I got me a hoodie too, just because I wanted to support the store and everything else. Man, look, y'all want to holler about these prices ridiculous, try buying it from the NFL.
Right. And another thing, crazy. if you guys end up buying enough stuff, we might end up having some more ideas to throw out there for you guys to shop at. So, I mean, help us out. The more we get, the more you guys get.
Yes, sir. So, with that being said, man, I guess at this point, we're just going to leave the merch up there for you guys to look at.
Hold on, can I say one more thing?
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Now, before we put all this stuff out there and be asking you guys to purchase it and this, that, and other, realize we purchase it also. We don't just sit here and just throw it out there and be expecting you guys to go do it. We're also involved in purchasing our own gear and this, that, and other. Me, Bill, Mix, Mitchie, and everything else. If I'm not mistaken, he bought the little helmets or whatever and everything else. We don't just throw this stuff out there. We love it too, and we buy it ourselves. So don't just think we're just throwing it out there to try to get you guys to jump on it, and we're not using it. You'll see us in our gear pretty soon.
Yes, sir. And so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys, I'll take questions from the community that's in here watching. We're going to take a few questions before we get out here. So if you guys got anything you guys want to talk about, then let me know.
Coach Gore said he got him a hoodie and a hat.
There we go. And another thing, man, if you get anything out of here, I thought there was a red shirt in here. I guess not. But hey, we got 3 of them. We got navy blue, we got black, we got white. But if you guys do buy some gear here, make sure you send us pictures of it. We want to make sure that we post everyone up to on our social media so we can show the support and show our our fans how involved the people get into this league. And the merchandise actually looks sick, man. I really like the way that pro hoodie and jersey look, man. I know a lot of you guys would love to rock that. See Dak talking about go Bulldogs. So any questions?
Any questions?
Is that the coach, or is that just another dude with the same 3 first initials or 3 first letters?
I think it's Dakota. Yeah, he's a Raider fan. It's got to be Dakota.
Yeah,
that's why he said. Yeah, you know that was Dakota.
I didn't know it was Dakota, man.
I said he's a Bulldogs coach. He said, "Nah, it's me."
He said, "My division."
Yeah. So anybody got any questions? You said, "Who's my list?"
Who's from my list is least likely to be signed?
Least likely? I mean, we could go back to that.
I'd probably go with, I mean, probably Luke Trent, or it'd be a toss between him and Zack Rosen, because I think he's another quarterback too, right?
Yeah.
I just think there's such an abundance of quarterbacks in this league right now, and unless some like injury happens or something, which I think you actually mentioned in the article, I just don't know if they're gonna find a team, because it's quarterback is a very heavy position in the RFL right now.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is all the quarterbacks on that list, I think they're going to stay on that list simply because everyone has quarterbacks abundance.
Yeah, it's a lot of quarterback, but there are some aging quarterbacks, so you never know. By next year, could be a lot of teams that are in need of a quarterback, man. We got a lot of aging quarterbacks. You got Hunter Mackey, Drake Crowell, Holden Wolf. It's a lot.
Reed Wagner.
Even Jabri Jackson, he's almost 30. I think he's 29 this year. So it's a lot of guys that are starting to get up there in age. Quarterback might be a need. I wouldn't quite say Zack Rosen would be a guy that's not going to probably get signed, because, I mean, he is just only 21 years old. I don't know what the development's looking like. I'm pretty sure it's normal, though. But, you know, I think he can be worked with if needed. But like you said, at this moment, not really too many teams in need of a quarterback.
Yeah, and going off of Noah's reply to that, 84 is a very good backup, but aside from the fact that he's a very old quarterback, you also take into consideration, like for me, myself anyway, how much is he going to cost now, especially with the difference in how salaries are working in Madden 20. Yeah. If he's an 84 and 34, he might be asking for $20 million a year, and there's no way that I don't think many teams are going to be giving that up unless something crazy happens and they're forced to, which is why I think he would be staying there. Not really necessarily because he's not a good quarterback, but because he's probably going to come with a pretty hefty price tag.
And not only that, if he doesn't fit your scheme, there's no point in picking him up.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of teams, I feel like that's the only way he's going to get out of free agency, is if one team is in desperate need of a quarterback. Maybe somebody gets injured and they got money left and they're just like, you know what? We need this guy. Save our season or whatever it is. They pick him up for that 1 year and drop him back off. But, he may be sitting there for quite a while. Any more questions? I think that's all.
I saw some questions going on earlier, and I was going to say something, but we just, we got into the mode. So, I mean, there's got to be some more questions.
Yeah. I guess I could go up and read a couple. It says, does anyone know how many weeks this series has left before postseason? Okay, yeah, so right now, this is week 6. We got 6 more weeks of the college series, and then we got 2 more weeks in between that and the start of the RFL season. So I have to say about 8 more weeks in the RFL the RFL season will be here, man, and the series will be over after the bowl games and the national championship and everything of that nature. Let me see what else.
CJ Williams wants to know who play tomorrow.
Florida and Alabama. So that's going to be real good.
That was asked before we covered that.
Yeah. I'm happy that Oregon is not that bad.
Any other questions, guys?
Awesome Crocodile says he's more excited for college basketball, to be honest. That's interesting. He said, "Stop it."
I know there's a lot of people that are like obsessed with college basketball. I never really got into that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's it every week that I can. But until then, it's your boy Smitty, Bill, and Armstrong, and we're out.
We out.
Peace.